thought, well, how hard could it be?
Same number of image sensors, more? So for mobile mapping, yeah, people know Street View, but what do people do with the cameras?
With these cameras?
Yeah, with these cameras, what are their use cases? What are the ones you can talk about?
So most of our customers are putting this camera on top of a car and they're driving around and getting images of the built environment. So we have some customers that are doing this on behalf of municipalities, cities and towns who need an inventory of certain types of things, like, where are all the street lights? Where are all the street signs? Are there street signs that are missing or wrong? Are there cracks in the street? Are there illegal billboards? Are there, cars that have been, that are abandoned and have been there too long, and lots of other stuff. What are the houses there? Do they correlate to what these people are paying property tax for? Lots of things like that. So that's one set of users. Another set of users are in like telecommunications, like fiber optic layout and things like that. They need to know, like, where are all the telephone poles and what's on the telephone poles, which sounds sort of weird, like, shouldn't they know that already? Well, no, they don't, and they often have to send out people with clipboards and mobile phones to take pictures of it, and this is something that can be more automated, and in some cases it is more automated, in some cases it's not. There's plenty of companies that are still doing it the way they've been doing it 30 years ago, so it's still in the process of being kind of modernized. And so we have a customer who had to, map the entire state of California for every telephone pole in order for a telecommunications company to plan the, layout of new fiber.
Wow.
And then we have some customers who are using the cameras to make 3D models.
Okay.
Either using photogrammetry, using the images themselves, or combined with laser scans with LiDAR and point clouds.
And so, just for the viewers, you have 3 cameras. This is the 51. You have 2 others. What are they?
So this is the Mosaic 51. This is our first product. This has rolling shutter sensors. So it's the more modestly priced one. The Mosaic X is similar to this, but it has global shutter sensors. That makes it suitable for customers who want to color point clouds and combine the images with LiDAR data.
And scan things, right? And basically get it into the use cases. So my understanding, it gets it into VR. You can use that to get what sort of accuracy? It was very granular accuracy to scan it into.
Right. So we can get kind of like, millimeter level resolution of in 3D of of the street, of buildings and stuff like that.
And so that's used in, like, I'm assuming Hollywood or video games, or what are the sort of use cases for having that? Like, would you go scan a city? I mean, we're in Prague here, and I've seen some of your YouTube videos where you like use the camera to scan, and I showed it to my wife, and she was like, "Oh, cool, it's a video," and I was like, "Watch it again. This is actually a rendering, and this is this is incredible."
Right. So yeah, the scans can be used for visual effects or video games. A lot of film production is going to this virtual production. So you have like a big LED screen behind the actors, and that LED screen has to have some kind of 3D data on it that can be connected with motion control to the camera.
Yep.
And then a lot of this 3D data is used for kind of like high grade surveying. So measurements of railway tracks for high-speed rail construction and things like that, or power line inspection, or other surveying applications that require kind of millimeter scale accuracy for measurements.
Interesting. So this is the 51. We're talking about the X, and you got another one.
Okay, yeah, the third camera is called the Viking.
And there's a story behind this that I think is worth sharing.
So we were contacted by a Norwegian company who had been struggling for years against one competitor who shall not be named, but they really wanted a camera that would, blow everyone else out of the water. And they said, we've tried to build this a few times. We've tried to work with a few companies to, kind of build this kind of camera, and it's never worked out. Would you guys consider working with us on this? And so I was, absolutely excited about this. It was kind of part of our roadmap to build such a product anyway, so it wasn't going to derail us too much. It was already kind of in the pipeline, and to have customers pulling products out of you is great. You don't want to, distract yourself with side projects from customers. That's often not a good idea. But if customers are kind of speeding up your roadmap by pulling the products out of you, that's great, and that's what happened here.
Of the sphere cam,
right?
Like
So
they're pulling them, they're requesting them.
Yes.
So you had a company come to you and say, "We need a great camera."
Yeah.
What was the result?
So the result was a kind of the requirement is quality and extreme resolution with size and weight and power being kind of negligible factors. Like don't worry about it. Just build a great, large, extremely high resolution camera. So we've got this 187 megapixel 6 sensor camera that's about this big, and it's got 6 31 megapixel image sensors, and it's much higher resolution than any other similar type of product on the market. And there are a lot of tenders out there that have certain specifications and requirements, and if you can significantly pass those, then you can beat the competition at those.
So outside the industry, you guys have great marketing. I think you essentially, I evaluated the whole marketplace before, talked with many different people, tried to invent my own little GoPro solution for it. Talked with you. You were kind enough to hop on a call with me and be like, okay, here's the problems you're going to find on the GoPro, but good luck, and let me know if I can help. But inside the industry, what do people think of you? Are you the innovators, the young scrappy people? Are you the people that people go to for building this sort of camera? So I'm assuming that's the answer. Maybe it's like a guided question, but how would you describe your market position in the industry?
So I think we came at an opportune time. So when we first originally designed and built the product, it was because there were very, very few decent cameras to collect this data, and there's such a there's a lot of attention to kind of capturing the world and indexing the world, but how can you do that if you don't have a good camera? You can't.
Right.
So it's maybe unglamorous to build the hardware, but if you don't have that, then how can you do any of the other stuff? So a lot of people were very happy that we emerged, because they were not happy with what they were using and they wanted to upgrade, but there was nothing to upgrade to. And we started during COVID, which was a blessing actually, because we didn't have to travel to sell our product because we couldn't travel. So that was an expense that we didn't have to worry about when we were, literally without any cash to spend on such stuff. I think a lot of people were quite surprised at how small we were, and how we were able to come out with this product and build it and ship it, and that it works and that it's reliable and so on. So after a few years, we've become quite established, and I think almost everyone in this industry knows who we are. And quite a few people who I respect have told us that they are very impressed with what we've done in the time that we've done it in this span of a few years. That we've been able to develop multiple products from scratch and ship them in quantity to customers all over the world, and that they're they have good reviews and they're happy with it and it's reliable and so on.
Yeah, It's super fascinating to hear the story, to go from this object to this object that is very clearly, it's just an order of magnitude more professional and more complete. And it's like these have heat sinks on the outside. Like all the lessons were essentially bundled into this. So I think it's rather fascinating to look at this and hear the stories of it. And it's like, you know, we actually met on Hacker News. I posted, if you're going to build a Google Street View, how would you do it? And he chimed in, and all this great friendship has developed out of this. And I feel super lucky to have seen how this works, have a camera on, be able to use it, and solve the technical problems that I'm trying to solve. So essentially, for the hardware people watching this, and the people that have experience or that are thinking about trying to build this thing, let's boil this down to just a couple core lessons. One, size matters, right?
With hardware, yeah, and depending on what you're building, it might be more or less severe kind of issue. But if what you're building is you know, doing a lot of different stuff or doing a lot of computation, it you know, heat is not something that you just think about afterwards and like slap some heat sinks on the side or something. It, you know, can be a very serious issue, and it can be, you know, either unreliable, bad product, or something that works reliably. So yeah, that's a big deal.
As far as defining the problem that you want to solve, what advice would you have there? Seems like there's a lesson there.
Yeah, I mean, I would, and I think this goes for hardware as well as software. If you start with something specific and you know, attract people who have a you know, severe issue that they need to solve that isn't being solved, solve their problem.
Yep.
Don't try to, you know, don't try to boil the ocean and solve everyone's problem. Solve one specific problem, and those people will love you forever, and they will do your marketing for you by saying great things about you. And even if they're, you know, even if there's not very many of them, you know, you don't need 1 million customers in the beginning. You wouldn't be able to address that anyway. So start modest, and you can expand later.
And any advice on actually building a team? I mean, your background's in photography, and as you said, starting out with the Sphere Cam, you didn't know that much about how to actually pull that off. Any advice for someone from the outside? Like, if I wanted to build hardware, I'm a software guy. Where do you start? How do you hire a team?
So, I mean, in this company, a lot of the stuff that we're you know, doing and worrying about, I already did and worried about in my previous company. So, you know, I've done it before to some degree, some of the stuff. And I would say you need some people on the team who have done this before.
Okay.
You don't want it to be everyone's first rodeo. That's just not going to work.
Okay.
You need somebody who has, you know, already got scars and has learned the hard lessons, and you know, knows the, you know, some of the unknown unknowns that you can only figure out by having done it and either failed or succeeded. So yeah, somebody on the team has to have some experience at you know, some of this stuff.
Yeah, I really like the saying, everything is figure outable. And I feel like with hardware, it's not so much. Because like, you have a physical item, and with software, you just change it, right? So what, you have to rewrite some code. That's like a time expense. But when you have physical products, you can't just wing it or figure it out if it physically doesn't work. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's my big takeaway as like the software guy. Is like, man, you know, I think I worry about, like I was saying, I worry about network requests not arriving. I worry about cache invalidation. I worry about those sorts of things. Like, how do you scale this technically?
Yeah.
But if the physical space doesn't allow it, then you're fighting physics, right?
Yeah, and you have to be, you know, like shipping the product with hardware is you know, very, very serious, and you have to do a lot of, you know, testing and verification and make really, really, really sure that everything really does work before you build 10 more or 100 more. And if you don't, and you build 100 more, then you've got 100 problems that you have to deal with one by one. And I've seen that also with other companies in this market who didn't properly test and verify their product before they went to mass production, and
Wow.
they've been paying the price ever since.
Yeah, because I'm assuming like all the software I write, you know, the client checks and sees if there's an update, and if there's an update, it's pretty easy. Like in some JavaScript stuff, you can just download the update behind the scenes, not even tell you don't even have to tell the client. It's a seamless experience.
Right.
And for hardware, I'm assuming there's a completely different process.
Yeah.
So you got to add the firmware and all the stuff.
Right.
Just move fast and break stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really work.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Well, I think this has been a super fun conversation. I think this is like, man, I'm really impressed, and I'm really grateful for you to made this and help me solve my problem.
Yeah, it'd be great to help you solve your problem, and looking forward to see what comes out of it.
Yeah, likewise. Well, you can find Jeff on mosaic51.com. I'm Nick Reese, nicholasreese.com. We hope you enjoyed this, and for all of the hardware nerds or software nerds that are watching this, keep going. If you're building hardware, I would say don't wing it. have a seasoned expert, and we look forward to seeing what you do with it.
Thanks.